So let's talk about this article from Front Office Sports written by Annie Constable. And they were talking about the new WNBA CBA by because they have to get this done by October 31st as the deadline appears increasingly unlikely. And let me just say this right now. If they sit out for a period of time where they miss some games next year, it's going to kill this league. You cannot afford to have any stoppage right now with the influx of talent that you have with these young rookies like Paige Beckers, for example. You have your second year players in Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, etc. You can't afford to have any stoppage at all. Because remember, this league has not made a profit yet. Yes, they broke even. Someone said in the chat on one of my videos that they broke even in 2000, and that's the last time they did that. If you decide to hold out and demand more money and you don't look, at your league and try to fix the costs that you're spending, because that's what they should focus on, because you got investors involved. The NBA takes care of your operational costs. If you don't look at that part of your league and try to get that down and not shift your focus off the old media and the old players who are complaining and whining because Caitlin Clark gets a bunch of attention, this league is going nowhere. And then on top of that, if you don't look at the refs, because that's another problem, it's not just Caitlin Clark getting hacked, the Fever being attacked. There's other players out there who get bully balled, they get trampled on, and the refs don't take control of those games. And if you have a situation in the playoffs where you have a great matchup between like the Minnesota Lynx and the Aces, and let's just say Nafisa Collier gets elbowed in the face and it looks very intentional, and the player who does it does not get suspended for their actions, that's going to turn off fans. And what if it hurts Nafisa Collier and takes her out of the next game? See, you can't have that happen. And if that does take place where the refs aren't taking control and you're not punishing the players for their actions, people are going to walk away. It's bad enough that players are demanding more money and they act like they deserve a share of the revenue when the reality is there's nothing to be shared right now. You got to make a profit. It's that simple. Until that takes place, nothing's going to really change. And what I don't like about the players is they're acting so entitled. They're acting like, oh, I deserve a share of this pie when you just got eyeballs on your league. Like people are just paying attention. However, you got to realize you're competing with other sports like the NFL and college football, which is right around the corner. College football starts this week. People are going to forget about you. You have an opportunity between really the month of May until I would say the end of July to grow things, because in August, that's when people are like football. Let's watch that. It's going to happen. So you have an opportunity because baseball, it's still around, but people are going to end up watching more basketball because, again, like they love to go to the games. I'm not the biggest baseball fan like I used to be. I still enjoy it if I go to a game, but, it's a sport I don't pay attention to much anymore. However, if you want to take advantage of a market and get some of that share in your league, take advantage of those 2 months and build from there. Rome was not, built in a day, as you hear the saying all the time. So this is going to take, a lot of time to build up the momentum and the supply and demand of the league. But if you stop what you've already built over the last year, and it's going to happen for a long time, and let's just say they don't start till like June or July of next year, it's just going to kill that momentum and turn off fans even more. You might lose some of that interest you had gained over the last year. So here's what it says here. The players are working diligently to achieve a transformational CBA that builds on the growth. Yeah, good luck with that. Momentum and positive news surrounding women's sports and the WNBPA Executive Director Terry Carmichael Jackson said in a statement to FOS, as we approach the 60-day mark, the league's lack of urgency leaves players wondering if it is focused on making this work or just running out the clock. They don't want to give in your demands because you're not making money. So you got to think about what you're trying to accomplish here. Fans do not want that. They are with the players and demand a new standard for the W. You can't demand a new standard when the reality is this league isn't as big as they think it is. Still going to take time. You got Paige Beckers and fans aren't showing up for her games. They don't sell out the stadium in Dallas. You've got Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever where you sell out games. The Valkyries, like that's a new team on the block. They have the highest home attendance right now. A new team. Like Golden State fans love basketball. When the Warriors were in Golden State, they didn't always have great teams, but those fans would show up and sell out. And if you pause it, you don't think they're going to be disappointed? You know, they're just going to turn off some fans, especially they helped grow the interest with the attendance. That's just not a good idea. It's not a good business move. The league responded with a statement later Monday. We have been clear with the WNBA, but so there is no doubt. Our number one priority is to get a new collective bargaining agreement completed that addresses the players' priorities while also supporting the long-term growth and success of the league and teams. They want long-term growth. They're looking at the bigger picture here. Players like, pay me more money. The league's like, we want to, but we have to go towards that direction. And it doesn't happen overnight. A spokesperson for the WNBA told FOS, we have been meeting with the union throughout the summer and will continue to meet until this gets done, with additional sessions already scheduled through the rest of the season. If both sides fail to reach an agreement by the October 31st deadline, there are multiple paths forward. They can extend the last CBA, which need to be agreed to by both parties, would prevent a work stoppage and allow the sides to continue negotiating. In 2019, the league and the union agreed to a 60-day extension and announced in a joint statement 3 days before the deadline. Ultimately, negotiations were completed in January before free agency. So if they get an extension, great, because then they might need 60 more days to figure things out. Okay, fine. But if they don't agree to an extension and there's work stoppage, oh man, that's just going to be a complete mess. Unlike in 2019, the league is up against expansion with 2 new franchises, the Toronto Temple and Portland Fire, that are set to begin play in 2026. They got 2 more teams on the horizon, which means you add more players to the league, and they got to pay them as well, right? So you want more money, but you have 2 new teams that cost more in operations. Also, you got to pay everybody. So where are the players expecting this money to show up? Like, you think it's going to just magically appear? No, that's not how this works. So in 2024, the league held an expansion draft for the Golden State Valkyries on December 7th, over a month before free agency was set to begin. The league has yet to produce rules or a date for the upcoming expansion draft. It will be impossible to do so without a CBA because both expansion and free agency are dictated by the agreement. So they really should try to get this done by October 31st. Like, think about that. You got 2 new teams coming in, and I'm sure like rookies out there want to play. What if you stop their journey a little bit and they got to go play overseas? Don't you think that's a little bit inconvenient and selfish? Like, think long term. You don't need a work stoppage or a strike. It's not going to help. Like, this is not a great idea. If you want to delay this and use these slogans, pay us what you owe us, I mean, yeah, good luck with that. But you have to understand the business model for the WNBA is far less stable. As we already know, we pointed this out before. Investors are involved. The NBA helps out with the operational costs, and they have to find a way to make money. And it's just going to take some time. Remember, you're adding more teams, which is great. I think that's awesome. And you have a new media deals, that they signed for 11 years. So you're going to get more games on TV. And, with streaming being bigger, ESPN is going to showcase the bigger teams, and that will get more eyeballs watching. But you have to let everything grow organically. That's the biggest thing, is that the league understands they want to pay the players more, but we have to go in a direction where we head at that spot. But if you're demanding more money right now, it doesn't make any sense because we're not making a profit. We have to get there. So if the players want to think about this long term, they would be smart to just get the CBA deal done. If I'm the players, though, the things I would demand is better refereeing. I think you got to look at that. That's a fair thing to bring to the negotiation table. Talk about that. Discuss, how they're being covered from different outlets. Make sure they're talking about the Indiana Fever, they're talking about the Liberty, the Golden State Valkyries. Like, have conversations about positive things in the WNBA. Tell them, let's stay away from all the politics of the WNBA and women's rights. Let's just focus on our game. Talk about basketball, the great players we have right now that is helping grow our league. That would help get fans on board and get this league in the right direction. But we shall see. Will I be surprised if they go on a strike? No, I will not, because there's some players who are very entitled and they don't understand how business really works. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Love to hear your thoughts about the deadline coming up on October 31st. Do you think the players in the league will get it done, or do you think we're heading towards a strike? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.